listening to WRRT, WompRat Radio.
I space. You will never find a more wretched hive comes to the
Most impressive. You are not a Jedi yet.
The Force is what gives a Jedi his power.
I love you.
I know.
Binds galaxies together.
I need Skywalker here to rescue you.
No disintegration.
As you.
Half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf.
This is where the fun begins.
Last philosophy is to Jedi.
Don't think. Use your instincts.
How Liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Ahsoka. My name is Ahsoka Tano.
Why did you come here?
Because of and you're already know.
The belonging you seek is not behind you. It is ahead.
My name's Rex. You'll call me Captain.
Sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
They said years old.
The commission was quite specific. The asset. Terminated.
Go ahead. Slow down. Might want to quit while you're hit.
You might want to quit behind.
I want them alive. Your lack of disturb.
He doesn't like.
Sorry.
I don't like to either.
Bad feelings about this.
Use the Force. Let go. We can't win. You can strike me down. I shall become more powerful, possibly oxygen. Put Captain Solo in the cargo.
Could be worse.
May the Force be with you.
Your destiny lies with me, Skywalker. Obi-Wan still true.
War's not great.
You're right. You're right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to WompRatRadio. I'm Sam from Sam's Disney Diary and the Disney Nerds Podcast. We're talking Mandalorian tonight, and standing by with me, I'm starting with Red 9, standing by. Red 9, what is up, Jimmy?
Red 9, standing by.
I was waiting for that, man. I love it. Mr. Solo, Stan Solo, what's happening?
Red Fox, standing by. I'm awesome.
And Ed, what's up? I love that Red Fox standing by.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
It is great. And I'm not going to be outdone by Jim in his helmet there because I'm going to put mine. No, I have to take these off first. Then I can do it. Those of you watching, thank you very much. Can I do this? Can you hear me still? I think this is pretty cool.
Nice. Be careful with that targeter.
Careful with the targeter. It does blink, which is kind of cool about that. That's the Black Series, just like Jimmy's. But we're going to be talking about this helmet quite a bit here as we talk Mandalorian. So how's everybody doing, man? Season 2 started. It's been great.
Doing great. Doing well.
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't say spoilers, there be ahead.
Oh, spoilers, there be lots ahead. So if you haven't seen, although, like we always do, before we jump into Mando, there has been a little bit of news. So I thought we'd start with that. And in fact, when I look at this logo, WompRatRadio, that WompRat in the middle there, I spent so much time looking for a WompRat. I had to find that one from a video game, but I think we got some real clear pictures of WompRats in this latest episode of Mandalorian. So we'll get back to that, right?
Right.
All right, so some news. Hey, Bradley, and thank you guys for watching us live. That's awesome that you can join us. I don't know if the three of you have seen this, but some news that came out yesterday around holiday specials. Did you see that Disney Plus is going to be launching a Star Wars Lego holiday special? Did you guys see this?
Hardly wait for this.
Yeah, I did see that.
All right, so I had to bring with me. There's a trailer for this, so we're gonna watch it, and I want to see what you guys think. It's only a minute and a half long, but come on, man, this is Star Wars Legos. If there's anyone here that's into the Star Wars Legos, you guys know I got that. There's my latest two to the collection.
Actually, if you're a geek, it's Lego Star Wars. Everything
it's Lego Star Wars.
Lego first, yeah. It's never.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And by the way, I do have here next to me. This is the Advent calendar, and in the middle of that Advent calendar is this person that I don't know who this is with the sweater. That person's like featured in this holiday special.
You gotta zoom in more.
Hold on, we'll see him because he's right there in the center of the trailer. That guy right there.
Oh, wow.
'Twas the night before Life Day.
Life Day.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Looking good. Tree, food, decorations.
Coming together heroes were to celebrate the day.
Please be a cape. Please be a cape.
For Rey, adventure called, and she thought it would be fast.
Wow.
But there she found a key to the galaxy's past.
Sorry. Oh, Master Luke, what are you doing? This is so cool! We've seen my master. My master's master.
Concentrate.
My master's father.
Impressive.
My master's father's master.
Emperor Palpatine? I don't believe it.
You think maybe you could put a shirt on?
It's a key to travel across.
That was Kylo.
I will change to the future.
So sure are you?
Mm-hmm. Less talky, more fighty.
Pod races. Jigs.
Oh, double jigs!
Oh.
So cute.
Ooh, gimme. Galaxy's best emperor. Meh.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
Music.
A time of joy this is.
Hooray!
A friendship. A family.
Who are you guys?
Master Skywalker.
My son. I mean, these binary sons.
Unta solos?
You want to shoot first? After you.
I love the unta solos, like two solos. I thought that was great.
That was pretty cool.
That was not at all what I was expecting.
It's not. It's some space travel, and they bring all these different galaxies together. I'll watch it. Clearly, with it's for everybody, right? I'm sure there's lots. I love the Admiral Akbar reference in there. But
they kept Life Day. They kept the actual holiday.
Life Day is the holiday, which is awesome. Yeah, that's good. So that was one big piece of news we got. That streams on November 17th, which isn't that far away, which is crazy. Another big thing out there, you guys might not be that big on it, but maybe Jimmy, some Force jewelry was just launched. I don't know if you guys saw this.
I dig it.
No,
the guy in the Christmas sweater was Poe Dameron, Sam.
Is it Poe?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right. I wasn't sure, but that's cool. I'm good with it because I that makes complete sense. He's right there, and that's awesome. So, how about the jewelry here? Some Yoda stuff, but I got to tell you, I love this R2D2 ring and the C3PO ring. I think they're cool, or the Mandalorian ring.
But would your wife wear any of that?
No, but I'd wear that Mandalorian ring.
Yeah, I would wear that too. But I don't know what the black one is. What is that supposed to be?
I don't know if it's sort of a Vader thing or I'm not sure. This is all part of the latest high-end jewelry series, which is interesting to say the least. But lots of data on that at StarWars.com. They also launched some part of Mando Mondays, the Has Lab, which is Hasbro's lab, a new Razor Crest that looks so detailed. It's absolutely phenomenal.
So is this like a pre-order thing like they normally do for HasLab, or is this going to be available?
I believe it's pre-order right now, but lots of data on it this is part of the Star Wars Vintage Collection, so it comes with the vintage packaging. But look at the Mando here. Look at the details. And the child there. It's this I could get into for a long time.
That didn't match. That the child wasn't out of the cocoon in that scene. I'm sorry, I'm being technical. He was laying back. It was only a hand that
He was, but you know what? With that, I'm guessing you could put him in there any way you want. He's in his little crate behind him there. There's some good stuff there.
Is the
all part of
shift knob removable?
You know what? That's a great question.
It would be a great.
That thing would get lost for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And by the way, all part of this whole Mando Monday, and the merchandise has just been from Build-A-Bears to plushes to you name it. It's all out there. There's just tons of stuff.
30 years from now, the little shift knob would be worth a fortune because like if you had one with the shift knob, it would be like worth way more because
because everybody's mom threw it away,
right?
Or it got lost, or the cat ate it.
Yeah, the vacuum cleaner, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see the
That's
cat.
like the little rope on the Death Star that came out in the 70s. I still have the rope, but I'm missing the trash monster.
I get it. All right, so all that's cool, but come on, Chapter 9, the Marshall came out. It's just amazing, and there's so many Easter eggs, guys. I thought it was an awesome first episode. I love that there were callbacks to Mando episodes from first season. There were references to lots of the original trilogy movies and even the prequel trilogy. It's a great episode.
It definitely was. I love how they kept that just Chapter 9 and continue.
Yes,
yeah,
story continues.
Absolutely, because it's season 2, episode 1, but no, it's Chapter 9, and that's what's awesome about it. Because if you look at the list, it's Chapter 9 through 16 or whatever is the second season, and that's cool.
I mean, it seemed like also they took like we talked about this before, it being a space western, but they really like doubled down on it on this one.
Yeah.
Extra western,
They did.
They brought in a guest sheriff. I mean, come on top of that.
Right.
Yeah, lots of callbacks. So I what I did is I got a whole bunch of sort of images and pictures through this thing. This is the very beginning when he's approaching a city. We don't quite know where he's headed, but just like we said in the last episode, it reminds me of the Lone Ranger. He rolls into the city, something's wrong, he fixes it, he rolls out at the end onto the next adventure, and that's what's kind of cool. What was cool about this first one was there was graffiti all over the walls wherever they were.
It kind of seemed anti-Empire graffiti, like there'd be stormtroopers with X's through their faces.
Absolutely, Jimmy. That's exactly right. You see a stormtrooper with an X through him. I don't know if they're stormtroopers or if they're clone troopers or if it's a little bit of both. Then there's a protocol droid sticking back there. You got it, man. I thought that was cool.
Anything that wasn't Empire wasn't crossed out. So like the protocol droid wasn't X'd out, whereas the snow troopers and sand troopers and all them were.
It gives you that feel for history, right? Stuff's going on here, man. That's what Star Wars has always been so cool about, right?
And they're just
absolutely
the atmosphere, definitely.
Yeah. And Mando finds his way to a door where he knocks on it. He's met by a Twi'lek, and heads on in there looking for Gor Koresh, which is a new character we haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And we won't see again.
Probably won't see again, although his species has been around. He is a Cyclops, an Aspen. Is that how you would say it? From the planet ABYSS, Abyss.
Yeah.
Sure. And by the way, I'm going to give you, this is a screenshot from A New Hope. That's from the Cantina.
Oh, I didn't catch
check
that one.
That out.
Fair enough.
And it goes by quickly, so I'm going to show you the clip that it comes from because it's a fast clip right after Greedo takes out Han. So we all know this scene, right? Mm-hmm. Who shoots first, all that good stuff. Pause it as soon as we see it. So right after that, right there he is.
Wow,
that guy right there.
Oh, okay, that's right on.
That's him on the right. So that is the and that's what's kind of cool about it, right? So you took this character you needed and you modeled him after somebody. His eyes are much different color, but maybe that's the species, the way it works, right?
Yeah, one's from the northern part of the planet, the other one's from the southern part of the planet.
Yeah, exactly. One's got one's got a beard, one doesn't, but
maybe it's a different planet in system. You know who the actor was playing Gore?
I'm not sure. Do you, Ed?
Yeah, John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was radical hearing that one. That was really cool.
I had to go look it up because I saw the credits that John Leguizamo was in. I'm like, who the hell did he play?
Gor Koresh.
Yeah,
which I thought, by the way, when Mando first said Gor Koresh, and the guy says enjoy the fights, I thought that was like a code word to get into the speakeasy, right? You had to say the code word to get in. That's what I thought it was, but turned out he was looking for somebody.
Gotcha.
Yep.
and we saw some of the guards, and I'm blanking on their names. I should know. Gamorrean guards. Thank you, Stan. And they are in much better fighting shape than the ones we remember from the Return of the Jedi.
Just a bit, yeah.
This guy's been eating a lot.
These
guys are ready for battle,
guys. Yeah, and these are
these are young ones. They're the young bucks, not the...
That could be it too. Yeah.
Or it could be that Jabba just prefers people with girth.
Could be. Makes it feel better. Yeah.
Okay. These are successful fighters. They made it out of the ring. So they get the next step up. They work for Jabba now. It's easy work.
Oh, maybe that is it. You know what, Ed? I like that explanation.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
It was cool to see him, though.
Yeah, in the battle, right? And inside the battle, there was a fight that goes on, and we don't have to go step by step through the episode, but and Mando takes everybody out because they threatened the child at the time. One of them that he takes out was this guy, which is Darth Amirian, which is the same species as
Darth Maul.
As Maul,
right?
Which is kind of cool.
Very cool to mention. The way he takes them all out was with those whistling birds.
Whistling birds, yeah.
But when he activates it and Baby Yoda, the child sees it, the child hits the button barrier and closes because he
which was in all the previews, and it was great.
Yeah, he knew it was coming, so I thought that was pretty cool.
So
that was good.
The little hover carriage, the one that Quill remade him, the button was on the bottom. Because if you watch in season 1, every time he goes to close it, there's a little switch on the bottom he hits. Now, Baby Yoda is able to do this. It could be a two-way switch, but I just thought it was kind of like I noticed that during the trailer that that switch wasn't there.
Dan's looking for the misses, man. Yeah, I don't know. We are researching that one for certain.
Yeah,
we're research that.
So it could be a different carrier because they made it seem like. And we're going to be getting to this, but they made it seem like some time had passed because when he does get to Tatooine, the lady at the that takes care of the ship, she acts like it's been a minute since she's seen him.
Yeah,
it's been a while. Yeah.
We'll get there because that's exactly what happens next in the episode, Jimmy. Because Mando essentially takes Gore, and he's like he's looking for another Mandalorian. He's looking for somebody to help him find his way.
Now, where
that
is the
leads
Mandalorian
to this.
you know of?
Tatooine.
What?
The Mando I know of is on Tatooine.
I've spent much time on Tatooine. I've never seen a Mandalorian there.
My information is good, I tell you. The city of Mos Pelgo. I swear it by the Gatra.
Tatooine it is then.
All right, so two things he said there. Mos Pelgo, which was first mentioned in the Old Republic video game back in 2011, and it came up in canon because they redid canon in the novel Aftermath in 2015. So we'll talk about Mos Pelgo in a minute. And he also talks about the Gatra, which there's a lot of speculation out there what that really means, right? Is that the loose real life translation in Hindu is that it's family. But if you research Gatra in Star Wars, Laurel, you'll find a droid Gatra, which is a group of droids that supported droid rights, which first go back to the Grand Moff Tarkin novel. So I'm not exactly sure where that fits, but I thought it was kind of interesting. And we know he's headed to Tatooine.
Yep.
He's headed to Tatooine. Where did we last see a Mandalorian on Tatooine? I mean, that's all. Yeah,
Well, as soon as he says Tatooine, the first thing you know is, well, we know. I know a man.
Yeah, he's going for Boba.
And
we know it.
We thought it's going to be Boba that we're going to see right away. So
of course,
But,
it's interesting because that turns back and forth a little bit. But go ahead.
It does. Now, here's one of my favorite images of the whole thing, which is the Razor Crest arriving at Tatooine. I just think that's so cool. It's like, come on, man.
It is no at all, just different colors of desert, different types of
which is crazy. Yeah, it's basically rocks and desert, and yeah, it's. I love looking at that, and it just brings up all once you get to Tatooine, just the memories just keep coming. Get
feels.
Yeah.
See the banthas.
The banthas.
So now, do you think it was all computer, or do you think it was elephants covered up?
That's a great question. In fact, one I brought up with the kids.
I thought the same thing. I'm thinking there's no way they're using elephants nowadays.
I didn't think they could. But they lumber around just like them. They definitely modeled them after them.
They sure did.
I was trying to see feet underneath the fur at one point and stuff like that to see if it was or not. But great stuff.
Yeah,
I think they're puppets, and they're on that. What do they call it? I forgot what they call it. The big stage with
the big stage. I'm with you, Jimmy. I think the head's a puppet of some sort, and they're on that stage, and yeah, everything under him's.
Well, how are they riding them though?
Well, I want to say that the whole bottom of that thing is green screen.
Gotcha.
On the bottom part of it, right? The top of him's there in a puppet format. The bottom of him's green screen. But anyway, you look at it, it's just
all they do is they just move the puppet around a bit and then have the background move, and it gives the illusion of movement.
Yeah.
And you know what? That is one thing I did want to bring up, because in watching the first season, it never occurred to me, wow, how are they doing that? But I find myself now watching the second season and trying to look back to those special effects and see how they did it. And I don't know that I like that I'm doing that.
I agree completely.
For what it is.
Right. And this desert scene, I was looking around to see how the TV screens would be and how they're doing the shots. And there has to be times when they film the guys out in the desert and then they have other guys in front of the screens. So they have people on the screens too, I think, at points. But yeah, you're right. It's definitely something I'm looking at now, and I don't want to be.
Yeah. And even rewatching season 1, there was times when you could see there's a little glitch in the screen. I'll send you a picture of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
playing a video game, there'd be like because I mean that's the technology that they're using, right?
It is. It's absolutely it, Jimmy.
Yeah, you can see there's almost like a fold in the corner or something.
Yeah, that's
exactly right. The Razor Crest arrives at Tatooine at Mos Eisley's spaceport. And like Jimmy mentioned before, the first place he lands is with an old friend.
Yeah, I was so excited to see her again.
Yeah. Pelimoto and her droid pit friends who first appeared in Mando Chapter 5. So this is a visit back. And like Jimmy said, she definitely remembers the little guy.
Yeah, but they definitely made it seem like this is not, like he just wasn't there like a few weeks or a month ago. Like it's been
some time has passed
since he's been there, since the last time he was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
A really interesting thing in here that she tells the droids to not go work on his ship because he doesn't like droids, and
that's right.
And he says, well, you might as well just let him give it a once over. And she's like, oh well, he likes droids now. Huh.
Yeah, what the heck's changed? So if you think about it, from Chapter 5 until Chapter 8, a lot of times it has passed, right? A lot of things happen to Mando, including he's okay with droids all of a sudden.
Well, I think it's because of the IG
11
programming
was reprogrammed and gave his life to give them, to blow up the stormtroopers and let them live. Changed his opinion a little bit. I think that was the defining moment in his mind. He says, well, maybe they're not all bad.
Right.
And her yelling out, "Thank the Force," when she sees the child again.
Yeah.
So the Force is still a thing, or is it like a myth, or is it like,
according to Mando, it's a memory. He doesn't seem to know exactly what Baby Yoda is doing when he uses the Force. So to me, that's kind of an odd thing, but it hasn't been that long since Luke Skywalker, finished it up.
That was one of the things I was going to ask before we went live, and I said I'm going to hold on to that question. I think it has more to do with the fact that they're out in wild space, not the fact that so much time has passed. Their distance from they don't see Jedi, they don't see that type of stuff going on.
I have a better answer than that. It's only Luke. So nobody knows the Jedi are back. So it really has still been 20, 25 years or 20, however Luke is, plus the then episode 4 and episode, 4, 5, and 6, whatever age Luke is at the end of that, that's been how many years since there's been since Jedi. So what's that, 30 something or something in there? So yeah, Mando's coming out right after that. So they still have no memory of Jedi. It seems
but
like,
yet she's still using the term "thank the Force."
Yeah,
true. Well, Tatooine might be a little different because Tatooine has seen a lot, and it is kind of not really as much as it supposedly was way back when, but it is kind of a crossroads. So maybe just the terminology would get there. Thank the Force. Who knows?
I just thought it was interesting.
I thought years after the Battle of Yavin in this.
So we're supposed to be set 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So after the second Death Star.
9 years after the Battle of Yavin, about 9-10 years after the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
So they're not that far removed from Luke being an adult and using the Force and Darth Vader and
But how many people in the universe knew about Darth Vader and Luke is my big question. Other than us, because we watched the movies and we read the book, I don't think real people like this mechanic, I don't think she would have known who Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader would have been.
Coruscant would have.
They would have known of the Emperor and the Empire and the Death Stars. Would they have known the people?
Right. And why would they know Luke Skywalker and Coruscant? Because
you know what I think it is?
Vader and Coruscant.
I think she's a fan like us. Because she sees the baby or the child and she goes, "Oh, he's still alive. Thank the Force. You know, you want to sell him?" She's one of us. She goes,
She could be.
She's
Very good. Kidding, not kidding. That's exactly
right. She's a fan. That's what she is. So she knows all the story.
Sure.
Yeah, which is good.
The other thing is that when he tells, I don't remember her name, but the head Mandalore, she goes all the way back to stories of the great Mandalore fighting, wizards that could do magic like that. Like but that was way before anything more recent. I think it's maybe a combination of both. Some time has passed, and like you said, it was just Luke and Vader basically who were Jedi. But I think also you're in wild space. So if you listen to, if you live, you're in Outer Rim. So you're distantly far removed from everything that happens in kind of the center of the universe. And some time has passed.
Could the new Obi-Wan series have her appear in it in a younger form?
Yeah, it could be.
And she knows Ben. And
maybe you never know.
Maybe that.
I love connecting those dots,
hey,
man.
Guys, remember when she said "Thank the Force"?
I love
she hung out with Ben on Tatooine for 4 years.
Right. And definitely had some stories outside the Luke story on Tatooine.
Yeah,
that's right. Definitely. All right, let me keep moving here because this guy here, R5, bring us the map. That's exactly what she yells.
He turned around behind and he was leaking fluid, coolant.
All right, let's look at it because I got exactly that. I got a clip from A New Hope first. You guys all remember this, of course.
Well, come on, Red. Let's go.
Everything changed on a malfunction.
Yeah. There he goes. This one's got a bad motivator.
Yeah?
The motivator.
R2 unit has a bad motivator. Look.
All right, so the motivator, I froze it here, Ed, right to where it blew up. And if we compare it to the freeze they did on R5,
yeah, he's definitely leaking fluid up there.
It's exactly the same place because if you go straight up here, one over from where the antenna is, one over from the antenna straight behind, that's awesome.
Yep.
And you know that Filoni knew what he was doing and he left it sit out there for people like us to find it and go, look, it's exactly the same droid. Look at that. It's R5.
The guys are like this.
And we do. We love it.
They're all going to see it.
And of course, it's literally not the same droid. It's definitely the same line of droids.
Yes.
He talked about this earlier, but he was also in the first episode. But I mean, in the first season of Mandalorian in the cantina. But you had to be a little more of a nerd to see him there because, in this one, she calls him R5 and they kind of like, okay.
This is true.
Yeah,
that's right. And maybe that's why I did it, right? R5 and yeah.
And of course, we know where R5 ends up.
R5 ends up in
Batu on Galaxy's Edge.
Batu. That's true. There you go.
Yeah.
With Hondo and Aka, right?
Yeah.
With Hondo. All right. So, but why? Remember, the reason why Mando went to Tatooine was to find the other Mando, and R5 is who he tracked down. He lands there. She brings over R5 to show him the map.
Waiting. Okay. This is a map of Tatooine before the war. You got Mos Eisley, Mos Espa, and up around this region, Mos Pelgo.
All right. So you got Mos Eisley, Mos Espa. So Mos Espa, the site of Well, pretty much the entire first movie, because that's where Padme went to find a new hyperdrive with Qui-Gon, ended up in Waldo's junkyard, led to an exchange for parts for the freedom of young Anakin Skywalker, and basically all of the Phantom Menace took place in that city. So that's kind of cool, including the pod racer, which was at Mos Espa's Grand Arena. So that all ties back together, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Look at that massive place on Tatooine, and everything else is rags.
And that's looking at that map. It made me wonder, Ed, where'd that track go? How far did that track get to Mos Eisley's? And I was
sure that could be gone even at this point too. That could be just really abandoned.
It could be. And then we had Mando's like, all right, I'm going. He heads out on one of the coolest speeder bikes ever. Same one he had, but
until you see the one the Marshall's on.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
Maybe the coolest part of that is in the back right there, because
little
back
saddlebag.
there you got.
That's another
saddlebag. Yeah.
That's another collectible. It's going to be the bike with the child on the back.
Bike with him on the back. And
I think I saw those at the Disney store already. The
he's probably already there. Yeah. We find out
with the saddlebag.
The ears flipping in the wind was the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You didn't have the picture of the other bike.
It's coming.
Okay,
it's coming because we haven't met the Marshall yet. And here's him with talking his sign language with some sand people again, which is kind of cool. I love some of the overheads where there's a bantha skeleton laying out there. In retrospect of size, there's Mos Pelgo, just that tiny little thing.
Did you hear the story about the sand people and speaking, or are we going to talk about that later?
No, let's talk about it now because I don't have it.
They actually hired a hearing challenged actor to come up with the language they used for those couple scenes they have when they talk to the sand people, where Mando talks to them.
So they made up a sign language kind of a thing.
Yeah,
because I just remember the.
I think some of the sign languages, I guess, for words that we don't have in the English language, most of the sign language was real, but the vocal things were
got it
by the guy who was hearing impaired or
deaf.
Cool. I'm sure if he was deaf
or
hearing impaired, but
yeah, because a lot of people that are deaf and use sign language, their facial expressions are a big part of it.
Yeah,
sure.
Now with the sand people, they don't have facial expressions, so this is where the grunting would come in.
Yeah, makes sense. I love it.
Cool. I was trying to see if the sand people had different faces too, the way they had those teeth and things like that. For those the breath, whatever.
I think I got another one picture coming up we can look at. And this is where we got those. Got to be Womp Rats. Nobody said it, but check those things out.
See, I was told those are scurriers.
They're scurriers. Maybe they're not Womp Rats.
I think they're a little small for Womp Rats, I would think.
A baby Womp Rats. It looks like a pig's nose. I don't know what that is, but it's kind of cool looking.
Yeah. I figured they were Womp Rats too, then somebody corrected me on it and said they were scurriers.
All right. Okay, I'm good on that. We'll figure that one out. Then, of course, Mando finds his way into the local establishment and comes face to face with
Boba Fett.
Yeah. And I was kind of annoyed. I wanted Boba Fett to be dead. I thought Dead was dead. I didn't like it.
No, that's not the case in Star Wars.
We never saw him die, and
I know, but
the ways he came out of that
Sarlacc, though. He literally went into Sarlacc.
He went into the pit and he came out the other end.
He literally came out and went into the Sarlacc's mouth. So I would have thought he was dead.
Yeah, you're slowly digested over 1,000 years when you go into the
or just a half a day when he pulled out the grenade and blew a hole in the side of him and got out, almost like what Mando did to the other thing. But we'll get back to that. Yeah. But clearly, this is nobody says it's Boba Fett's armor, but come on,
sure it is. It totally is.
Oh yeah, you can tell it is.
The dent in the helmet gives it away.
Yeah, the helmet in the second gives it away. The scratches on the helmet. So that's
well. Did you see the big dent in it though?
Yeah, it's right where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's right
here.
It's right there.
Well, plus the emblem on the
one on top.
The one on top.
Oh, the one on top. No,
the other side.
That's from
you double it.
Cool.
It looks like a bullet would have hit it.
That's Cod Vanth. And my question was with Boba Fett's armor, and there you go. There's your closer look.
Oh, yeah,
clearly.
Vader deflected a bolt or something into it, I think is what happened. I was trying to figure out what happened because it's definitely so prominent. And when I went back through it, I'm pretty sure it was Vader deflecting. And I want to say maybe it was when Solo did that in the Empire at the Cloud City, perhaps. I'm not 100% sure when that happened.
Interesting.
Maybe on the sail barge.
I thought it was in the Boba Fett comic book series that they said how it
Could
happened.
be.
Oh, okay.
Very well could be. I need to look into that one. So this is your character. This is Cod Vanth after he takes his helmet. And look, as soon as he takes his helmet off, you know he's not a Mandalorian.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, good. It's not Boba.
It's not. He's got his armor. We don't know how. We'll get back to that.
And what's interesting is that, well, so first of all, the Mandalorian immediately knows he's not Mandalorian because he takes his helmet off. But
yes,
we don't know. In Clone Wars, the Mandalorian take their helmets off all the time. So is this just a new thing that they don't take their helmets off?
Did they in Clone Wars, or were those clones that were taking their helmets off?
No,
or was it Mantis? No, you're talking. You're talking about when they go to the different cities and the moon of Manda to the home.
Dean Red has her helmet off almost all the time.
Yeah, you're right.
Goes in the back, he puts her helmet on.
Right.
Yep. You're right. Something happened somewhere.
Timothy Oliphant.
I got to tell you, wearing a helmet all that time and having hair like that after taking the helmet off.
Pretty impressive.
He is the star in two of my favorite TV shows, which is Ed talked about it earlier, Deadwood and Justified. Two fantastic TV shows, and both kind of Westernish. So he fits that role pretty well.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cod Vanth, the character's not new. Was part of that's a book series, Aftermath and Life's Debt and Empire's End, and then a Mandalorian. So he's been there protecting this community. He did a great job of giving us his backstory. What I liked most, and I didn't want to forget about it here, Jimmy, was the 2 snorts of spotchkas, what he orders when he walks in. I did a little homework on spotchka. Snorts clearly is a shot. I mean,
sure. And that's a throwback to a Western thing, right?
Sure. Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
The spotchka is brewed from krill, which is what the farmers were farming back in episode 4.
Right.
They were those little fish type things that they were after. That's what they make it out of. So I thought that was kind of a cool connection.
No way.
They're like,
yeah.
It's so cool that they're going back to stuff from. Sorry, Jimmy, go ahead.
Like the little blue shrimp, right?
Yes, the little blue shrimp looking things. They're part of that. Spotchka is based on them.
Cannot taste good.
I'd try it.
No.
I mean, it's only a snort.
If it's liquid from shrimp. But
It's
that
only a
makes
snort.
it makes total sense though, because when he put the bottle up, it was blue.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Which they still don't get along, and it leads to that little standoff of sorts. At least it was going down that path until there's a bit of a disruption outside with some creature coming, which ends up, having a bantha for a snack.
I thought that was one of the worms from Dune.
It almost looked like it,
except for
the holes.
Yep.
And apparently it just swims in the sand like it's water.
And they refer
Tremors,
to dragon.
It is a Kraith dragon. It's exactly what that sucker is. And now I did some homework here, and I found some interesting things about this thing, right? They hail from Tatooine. Clearly, we all know that. They're huge. They're big. This comes from StarWarsFandom.com is where I found that data. And I wanted to link it back to, and we can link it back to A New Hope.
Definitely.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That is a smaller Kraith dragon. And I even dug a little bit deeper, and I don't know if you guys ever did the Dungeons and Dragons games or things like that, because there are some cards in that game. One of them is a Kraith dragon and what it is.
Yep.
And the other one is Kraith dragon bones. And there you can see the bones. That's clearly that same scene. I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice.
I didn't. You might not have a picture of this, but I thought two of the things that were really cool and made it really Western was Baby Yoda by the spittoon.
Yep.
In South Louisiana, we would call that a cuspidor. But and then he's in the sandbag and he's in it. He's in the spittoon.
Yes.
Pokes his head up, and he's
yeah. You know what? I didn't get that was a spittoon until you said that, Jimmy. I love that.
You know the true history of spittoons? That has got one of the grossest things.
I know. And as soon as you saw the child with the spittoon, you knew he was going to end up inside it at one point.
He's in the bag.
He's going to end up inside there. There's no two ways
He's
about it.
like a cat in the bag, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I got one more Kraith Dragon thing here, and that is the Kraith Dragon Howl.
Sure. That was like when we first were introduced to him.
And we had no idea what it was, so I went and I found that clip too. So this is from A New Hope, and this is how Ben got rid of the Sand People. That's a Kraith Dragon call that scared him away.
And I remember.
I think they added that in a special edition somewhere.
That's horrible. And
they changed it 3 times over the different versions that came out between the special edition and the Blu-ray.
Right.
So there's 3 different versions of that howl.
The Mando
man's got his cat right there.
Yeah, she wants to pay you.
But the howl, so that's kind of cool. All the way back in the first one, to get rid of the Sand People, Obi-Wan fakes the howl of that thing, and they go and run. But they'll be back with more numbers.
I'm sorry. I talked over you. That's not the version they used in Mando, though. They used the version of the first version.
I think they end up using all 3 versions at some point or another.
Which would make so much sense. That would be perfect, because then they'll cover canon perfectly there.
Because the dragon inside the cave coming out was a different howl than the dragon that was attacking.
Okay. I got those pictures coming up. But I figured while we were talking about this thing, I was going to jump to some other homework I did, which was, of course, when this is all done, which, by the way, there's a bunch of Tuskens there. I don't know if their faces look different or not, but they have the pearl, the whatever it is. And I hadn't heard about this before. So what is this thing?
It's an egg.
It's not an egg. It's a show of heroism. It's a show of courage. By being able to get a Krayt Dragon pearl, you prove you're a warrior. You prove you're an incredible.
Basically. Now, here's something else cool that I learned about this, and I found this from a book that was published in 2019, so it is new canon. This is from Gadgets and Gear. Check this out. The Krayt Dragon Pearl. Rarely a stone would contain a kyber crystal and remains in the beast's belly until it's formed a smooth, small sphere, which could be used in a lightsaber.
Right.
Tell me that's not going to come at some point.
Well, the difference is this is a massive one. This isn't it. That's not a kyber crystal, but it could be. So somewhere down the road, someone's going to have to kill a Krayt Dragon to get the kyber crystal to build their lightsaber. I just see that coming. Anyway, I thought that was cool. Oh! I got a cat, and the cat's knocking things down.
That's awesome, Stan. I love it.
I'm just going to exit for a bit.
No problem. Okay. So along those lines, guys, in the dragon there, it takes us right back to Ed's thing, because one thing that the Marshall did is he did a great job of telling us his backstory, right? So we don't have to rehash it, but he went through basically how he got the armor, but he ends up with this cantina full of things, and I immediately thought of you, Ed, and I thought a Woodrow and the whole
definitely
cantina.
Is that what it is? A Camptono?
Camptono is the official name of that, yeah.
We just found that out in this episode. We didn't know what it was called, right, until this episode.
I don't believe it. You're right. I think it was in Empire Strikes Back, it was considered a data storage unit, but we can consider it a security for holding things, like a data storage core or jewels, like that was in this one. Some type of crystals was in the Mando.
Yeah. So going back to him telling us how he got the armor.
Yes.
Jawas.
Makes you feel like, once again, Boba Fett's dead, that the Jawas found his armor.
Something had to happen that if Boba Fett got out, because we won't talk about that right this second, but if he got out of the Sarlacc, then something had to have happened that he lost his armor to get out.
Well, that's a good point, but you could also assume
like an explosion.
You could also assume that just the armor came out the other end of the Sarlacc.
Sure. Or if the Sarlacc was destroyed or killed, the Jawas could have came back later and found all that stuff inside of it.
But they make you believe, well, and I'm sure we're going to get that to soon, is that the only thing that could probably kill a Sarlacc would be a Krayt Dragon.
Because the Krayt Dragon ate him to get the hole.
No such thing. Yeah, because they say there's no such thing as an abandoned Sarlacc pit. And he says, well, unless the Krayt Dragon eats the Sarlacc.
Yeah, but he would have eaten Boba Fett too, though, if he had done that to the Sarlacc.
If that was, there's a lot of things there. All right, let me go back to what I had, because next I had that speeder bike.
Yeah.
Right?
Pod racer.
So, I saw it right away. You look at this thing here. Yeah, you see, and then my next picture here is, that's Anakin's pod racer.
And I was wondering if it wasn't by the yellow fins. I got to think it is then.
Yeah, well, yellow fins, and if you look underneath it here, it looks kind of orange underneath. Sorry, over here. If you look underneath it, that looks orange. So if you flip it on its side, take one of them and lose two of those, you can easily come up with that.
Yeah, I agree.
So now the thing is, this is not like a Model T. This engine is so old.
But one of them
Anakin was a
good.
kid.
Looks like you should be roasting meat under it.
Yeah,
that's where the other one is. That's where the other one is.
That's where the other one is on Galaxy's Edge.
I'm bad too.
It's roasting Rano wraps.
Right.
All right, so that was a cool connection. I got another pretty interesting connection too, and it was these things, which look to be these mean dragons. And then it turns out, well, it is a reptile according to Star Wars lore. They're from Episode 2. It's a massive.
Throw a T in that. Make a big dog.
Right.
Is it a T? Yeah, and it's the dog. Yeah, you're right. And that's really what it is. And in fact, I did a little more homework, and they sold these things as toys with the sand person.
No kidding.
Very cool.
So you got a Tusken Raider with his dog.
If you had one of those right now, that's probably worth a couple bucks.
That's pretty cool if you ask me.
Very nice. Yeah, definitely.
And it looks like Ronto's wrap right in there. So that's from Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And that's cool because they're the dogs protecting him, and then he makes friends.
Well, that's the thing. They find the dogs, and then the next thing they're in the village, the Sand People village. So yeah.
Yep. And then Jimmy, there's that conversation we were talking about.
We also see the dogs in the prequels too.
Yes, that's what that was from.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went. That's from Episode 2.
Kind of glazed over that. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's from Episode 2.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry.
That's where it's from. Episode 2, and that's what the toy's from.
Yeah.
Like 2002 time frame, I think that toy was. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So how's it living there if that's a Sarlacc pit? Well, you eat the Sarlacc.
Now it's kind of a lateral Sarlacc pit. I would have thought they just went straight down like a hole, like a trap spider.
Maybe there's a back door to the pit. I don't know.
Well, there is after the episode anyway.
Well, after he gets blown up, maybe. I don't know. That's kind of cool. These are just some cool images. I look at these and I go, that's so cool. When you know the story where it's coming from, then these guys start flying around and they come up with how they're going to destroy this dragon, which is absolutely huge when you see the size of it. Just amazing.
That's great.
Real quick, I'm sorry. You just showed the back of the two guys there when they're flying around. We didn't mention right at the beginning the use of the rocket.
To blow that thing. Yeah.
And
never saw that before.
Where did he get the second rocket from? That he has on now? Because
they're just like the whistling birds. You pick them up. It's like a video game. You get points.
Helgen or wherever the hell this place is on the backside of Tatooine's, and Mos Eisley's bad enough, but this place. Yeah. So I just threw that out. I'm sorry.
I was going to go to Tashi Station and buy a new rocket.
That's good. I was going to go to Tashi Chasing and buy a rocket.
I got
my backpack
to fit the armor too. So anyway, moving on.
So they end up setting the trap and blowing this thing up, and in doing so, Mando's basically reward for that is the Mandalorian armor that the Marshall had, because the Marshall doesn't need it anymore. He was using it to protect them from the Great Dragon, right?
From the Sand People.
Yes.
The Great Dragon only came by once in a while, and it was getting more.
Well, no, he used the armor because of the Mining Corps people.
Well, true. Yeah, you're right. But then it became the Sand People and just the
Mining Corps people came into town, and that's how he battled them off, was with the armor.
Right.
Because he snuck away and ended up on a sandcrawler with the Jawas.
And that's where we got to use the rocket. That was the best part. The
rocket was cool, yeah. Because you wondered for a second, why isn't he chasing him? And then he just lowers his back and
boom. Yep. Very nice.
That's why he's not chasing.
The whole blowing up of the Great Dragon I thought was cool in that there was some great humor in there. Just between the bait scenes and luring the guy out of the tunnel, I thought that was great. And then, like we said, the dragon came out of the top of the mountain at one point and created a whole nother entrance.
Yeah.
What was the other? Oh, the other side of the coin was he had to prove he was a dragon. He had to spit acid, So was that 100% necessary? Like, where'd that come from? And
I don't know.
Would an animal on a planet that has no water necessarily have a liquid defense?
Well, it does have water. It's just underground, so that he can get to the water.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Maybe that is it. Yeah,
I never thought about that being underground and such, but okay.
Yeah,
and I guess that's for the.
sense.
No, I take that back.
Evaporators take the water out of the air.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was just correcting myself on that because they got to get it out of the air, but then even so, where does the water in the air come from? So maybe it is some type of underground source. We're really going off board here.
Yeah, no, I love it though. That's what we do.
Pull it back now.
So, but this kind of is where it wraps up, and it takes us back to Boba Fett. So, Jimmy, I was going to pull back a conversation you and I had back at the Epcot International Festival of Arts with an artist there, Jeremy, which, by the way, this is his picture. And he was commissioned by Lucas to do an image of Boba Fett right after he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
So I don't think he was commissioned by.
Well, he drew it and they approved it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Acme Archives, any of their art has to be approved by Lucasfilm before they could sell it.
And there was a book series that had him doing this, not the comics, but there was this like a book written where he got out and did some helping out people after he got out.
But was it was it canon?
Well, before Disney bought Star Wars, it was.
So I'm curious though, because those books eventually fell as canon or legends,
right? Or else they'll get. There's always a chance a lot of that stuff gets brought in as we continue on.
It does, and we see it happening here with Life Day, with those things, and I think it's clear that Boba Fett got out. How he got out, we're not exactly sure, but he got out. We don't know if it was did he blow up a thermal detonator, or did he do something to blast his way out, and in doing so was so hurt that he couldn't get his armor, and he just escaped.
Well, I mean, that's one of the good things Disney did. They didn't say, well, we're not acknowledging these stories. They just said, well, these are legends. They're just not canon.
Yeah.
At any point in time, they can take any one of those legends and canon and tell a story that says, well, this was legend. And now we're telling you the story of the legend and showing you that it's true.
Yeah.
So it's canon.
And there's a lot out there to pull from. Thrawn's going to be the next big one that they're going to probably do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But anyway.
Well, yeah, Thrawn's definitely canon because he's in Rebels. It's a matter of, okay, now how's he come into live action? Right. That's what's cool about it. So I think at the end of all this is all over. We have that image of someone watching Mandalorian Lave, right? And turn it around. He turns back and it's like, okay, is this Boba Fett?
The Gunslinger episode at the end, there was a mysterious figure. Is this the same mysterious figure?
Very well.
I think it is.
And we all thought it was what was it? Darth.
Yeah,
Gideon. Yeah,
we thought it was
Moff Gideon. Yeah, I think we were all wrong.
Maybe, we were all wrong. What could
now?
So yeah, what man?
You think he lost his eyebrows in the Sarlacc?
Go back one screen. So why does he have the Bantha tooth cleaner?
I think he traded
a Bantha rifle.
I think he ended up getting somehow he lost his armor and weapons, and he did the best he could. And was definitely great.
In one of the scenes in this episode, we see the one of the sand people like cleaning the Bantha's teeth with one of these things.
Yeah.
Which is like because you always wonder what do they do with that thing.
But they use it as a weapon.
Now we know.
Do with it. It's a Bantha toothpick.
And it's a weapon because the three guys that went to lure him out the second time to lure out the dragon, one of the guys had that in his hand as he was running along.
No, I think
they use it both.
Yeah, I think it's a weapon too, but I thought it was funny when they
you're right.
by the Bantha and the guy's cleaning the Bantha's teeth with this thing.
Right, which is really funny. Well, it looks like a big toothpick. Just have him clean his teeth.
So here's another real quick thought. How come the rifles look so much like Saudi Arabian rifles from the 1800s?
They do.
Right up.
Long time.
Well, that's the same rifle that the Tauntaun or the Sand People had in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Right. And even before that, when they were shooting pod racers as they went around the track.
Yeah. So,
they pass them down.
So did Boba join a Sand Person clan?
Or
did he just take their weapons?
Or did he just take their weapons?
Another thing, because
we find out if we don't, they got to revisit this as we go on.
Wars,
I would think.
in Clone Wars, they make you believe that Boba Fett killed a Mandalorian and took his armor.
Yes.
He's not a Mandalorian. He killed a Mandalorian.
Oh, right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. He's not a Mandalorian.
Did he kill a sand person and take his tooth cleaner and rifle?
Yeah.
Why not? Definitely.
If that's how he resources things,
Could be.
So this final scene where he's watching the Mando literally drive into the twin sunsets,
Mm-hmm.
is he wanting his armor or is he wanting Baby Yoda?
Or is he not knowing what the hell's going on?
Yeah, or none of the above. Because why would he know anything of anything going on at this point? Baby
He's
Yoda.
just like, who's the guy in the Mandalorian suit?
Talking about
he would know me, Baby Yoda, maybe.
Talking about the two sons, that was how the WompRat reference came.
Yep.
Because the Marshall said, well, two suns shine on a WompRat's tail every now and then.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
He was alive when Yoda was still alive, so that's a possibility.
It's a possibility that he does know who the child is.
And he's been tracking him since the Gunslinger episode. That would have been before Mando ever had the armor.
I mean, he definitely knows Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, then how come he's right here, though? That's the other side of the coin.
He's tracking the Mando.
Or is he just stuck on Tatooine?
Or is he stuck on Tatooine? That's the last place.
You think he'd figure a way out of Mos Eisley somehow.
Right. For the last 8 months, he hasn't done anything to track Mando, but stay on Tatooine hoping he came back.
Or that's the only time we've seen him.
Yeah. There's a lot of mystery going on.
There's a lot. Well, on purpose too, right?
Yeah.
That's what's cool about it, and that's why I wanted to do this tonight because holy cow, tomorrow we got
6
episode
hours from now.
Yeah, 6 hours from now.
Ed and Stan did a Jedi mind trick on me, and now they've got me to the point that I have to watch all the episodes on my phone.
Oh no, I watch them all. I did, Ed. I did take. You had shared with me the art at the end, which is phenomenal. The concept art that they use.
Yeah, always.
And some of it is just amazing. So, and that never happened, but I would have loved to have seen the scene.
I would say that is not a WompRat.
Yeah, I agree. The WompRat's a lot more meaner, I would think.
I think it's bigger and it looks more like a rat.
I think it's a difference between a rat and a mouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yep. I buy it.
They're similar, but they're totally
Rizzo and Mickey. Yeah, I see the difference.
That rat schmat. I
bet little Baby Yoda pellets around his in front of him there.
those chocolate chips that he said were people or rocks when they were around that.
Yeah. Right,
he's trying to feed him to that thing.
What are those? It's chocolate chips.
Yeah.
Those
There's some others too.
Rocks.
Notice how they were in single file. This picture is kind of erroneous because the Mando they were in single file, which was cool.
Well,
although that's Mando on that.
It is Mando doesn't know the culture. He's just on one. He doesn't care.
He wasn't on one in the show though, was he?
Yeah, he was.
No, this is that concept art from the end. So I don't. They never showed it. If they did,
they definitely wrote a bantha in the show.
Okay.
His rifle was strapped to the side though; it wasn't in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Well, for the scene we saw.
For the thing we saw, right? Different.
Oh, here's another question for you, real quick. If you remember this, because I saw this the other day again, when they were loading up the explosives, when they first met the Sand People, and they were going to work together, where was that house? Didn't that house with the place where they held the explosives? Wasn't that in the middle of nowhere? You got to.
Was it in that city?
Would they use those explosives for mining, and that might have been at the mining facility?
Could be.
Perhaps.
Maybe, and maybe they kept it away from town because it is explosives. Okay, cool. It just seemed like it was odd that it was. I thought at a moment I thought it was like an elevated platform they moved out in the desert to meet. But
I have a question now because we were talking about water.
Mm-hmm.
Did they get the water from the air, or did they get the water from underneath the ground?
The evaporators make me think they get it from the air.
I always thought it came from the air.
Evaporators have been way back from Luke. That's what he did for a living.
Just to get water from the air.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you need explosives to dig into the earth, to dig into the ground to get it? I mean, they have two different ways of.
Nothing to say they're looking for water with explosives. They could be looking for some type of mineral on the planet that actually they can mine.
Good point.
Yeah.
Although I would say, going back to your point though, Ed, if there's moisture in the air, it's got to be coming from somewhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So there must be some opening to what if there is an underground ocean or whatever.
Right.
Which again, we're digging too deep.
Yeah, really.
We are. Here's concept art of what we talked about before.
Right.
The rocket.
Yeah.
Rocket right off his back. I love that.
You expect it, especially with the targeting system, the little visor that comes down, which is now more than just a magnifying type of binocular or monocular.
Yeah, the targeting.
Yeah. And actually, Mando used that, I believe. He has some version of that. It's not as prominent as Boba's.
And he doesn't have a rocket, so maybe his is just a...
Well, didn't he use it originally for those little rockets on his wrist?
I don't think so.
To target?
The whistling birds? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he used it.
I know he uses his visor for heat signature and that from time to time.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Yep.
Oh, he used his flamethrower again in this episode, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Again, not hurting anybody, just...
Draw attention.
Draw attention.
Yeah.
Everybody's attention. Hey.
Yeah. The concept art is some of the best stuff.
Oh, man.
Yep. Very frameable.
I would say their faces look the same.
They do.
Yeah.
Well,
even the horns on top look the same. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, and the eyes, but the mouth, I was just wondering if they did something to make it kind of give
I thought maybe the horns would be different.
Individual. Yeah.
Whatever those are, if they're horns, if they're vents, who knows?
Sure. There is, they do talk about that in the, I think it's the Obi-Wan books, the Ben Kenobi books or book. They talk about sand people.
That's cool.
Nice.
There's your dragon. And of course, the last one is, that's just cool.
Yeah.
That's just cool. I love that.
Kind of matches that WompRatRadio logo there.
It does. It does right behind it. The background up on top of it there. That's cool.
Two suns shine on a womp rat's tail every now and then.
Every now and then. That's what I hear.
I'm gonna use that in real life and see.
Every day.
Yeah.
Just
sure.
I pick bizarre things like that and use in real life. I still tell people baking soda, squeeze me. Baking soda, squeeze me. From Wayne's World.
That's good. That's good. All right, man. This was fun.
Oh,
we got another episode tomorrow to look forward to. I'm so fired up for this. It gives us something to talk about every week. So hopefully we can do the same thing. What characters do you want to see next week? Where's Cara Dune? There's so many other.
I think we're going to bring them in. Carl Weathers, what's his name? He's going to be coming back, I think.
Mando. He has to yell every time he talks.
That's okay, though.
My best bounty hunter, Mando. Are we going to see? Do you think we'll see Wookiees in this season? Will he make it to Kashyyyk?
I don't know. He might not make it to there. You could see them anywhere, really, but yeah, maybe.
Where's Mando off to now, right? He's looking for the other Mandalorian because he thinks two Mandos can help him find where the child is from.
The Jedi.
So he's looking for another Mando, so who knows where he can go.
I don't quite understand that thought process.
Well, because I think because the female Mandalorian told him the stories of the great Mandalore fighting the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta remember, he wasn't a Mandalorian.
Right.
He was a foundling. He was taken, like the Mandalorian saved him and raised him, but he's thinking if he can find actual Mandalorian, they may be able to have stories or legend of where that he may be able to find Jedi.
More info.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's what I got.
That's cool. Hey, those of you watching out there, thanks for hanging with us. We appreciate it.
My lunch break, watching my phone real close to my face with my earbuds.
So when did we find out exactly when Friday starts?
Yes.
Like when does the episode drop?
I think it's 3 a.m. It's
on the East Coast, so it's midnight in California. Because
it's always available 7 o'clock in the morning. So
that would make sense. Midnight in California.
Yeah, midnight on the West Coast is when it drops. We're trying to figure that out. If you guys know out there, let us know. Because
I'm pretty sure that's when it is. I usually watch.
If I stayed up until 3 a.m. on the East Coast, I can watch this thing.
Yeah, try it out.
I'm going to set my alarm for 2.
Work.
Comments in our chat with spoilers.
Oh right, you don't have to stay up as late. Yeah, you can do it too.
No spoilers till we all watch it. You know how that goes. But then afterwards, it's all off.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I thought that was very respectful last time that everybody checked to make sure everybody had seen it because Normally I'd like to watch it on television, but we had a storm and I didn't have power, so I didn't want to wait for it. So I watched it on my phone really close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You may be watching one of these from Galaxy's Edge here soon, Jimmy.
I will be. I will be.
Next Friday, the next one. Yeah, nice.
Friday, I'll be watching it at the next two Friday. The next two episodes I'll be watching from Disney.
Nice.
Nice.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I don't have the outro stuff set up. We'll do it next time. I won't even look for it. But WompRatRadio, thank you guys for watching. Jimmy, Stan, Ed, thank you guys.
Red 9 signing off.
Bye-bye, guys.
What do you got, Stan? Anything special?
See you next week.
May the force be with you. Thanks, everybody.
Also with you.
Mm-hmm.